Good morning, Starshines. My name is DH, my pronouns are they, them, and I play cozy games. And I knit and crochet and do a bit of bullet journaling, and some other stuff too. Every Monday evening on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thecozydh, is our weekly crafty chat. Bring your project, bring something to stay hydrated with, but most importantly, just bring yourself. Each week, I'll post highlights from the stream, any tips I give, or just show off what I'm working on. To see more and join the conversation, follow me on Twitch to know when Crafty Chat goes live, and then join us. I can't wait to see ya. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a different setup today because we're going to be doing some cross stitching. And you might see some animal visitors in the back because it's a slightly different view of my usual desktop. I just noticed Gigi up there in the corner checking it out. So the project that I'm working on tonight is a piece from Wild Bluebell Patterns on Etsy. It's a snake and a lavender wreath. I can actually show you guys the pattern, and hi Gigi. Gigi's very confused about this whole new setup. He has no idea what's going on. So yeah, let me show you guys what I'm working on just so you have an idea. So I started this last night, and this is what I've done so far. This piece of Ada is huge. The design itself is 12 inches by 12 inches, and I don't think I realized how big the piece was supposed to be before I started stitching it, because I went to cut the Ada and I'm like, oh, I need 12 inches of stitching space, and the largest piece of Ada I have is 12 by 18, so that's not going to work. Luckily, I found a piece of black that was 15 by 18, so I just cut off 3 inches from one end, so giant piece of Ada. But let's see if this will work. Yeah. So this is the design I'm working on now. As you can see, it's very pretty, very witchy. It's, like I said, it's from Wild Bluebell Patterns on Etsy. I don't know if she's still having don't know the gender, sorry. If they are still having a sale, but patterns were buy 5, get 5 free with an extra 30 or 40% off. So I kind of went ham. We've got Pow on the critter cam today. She was stomping around in front of the camera right when I first went live, but I think she's decided that she shall not be perceived today. We got some new plants for her. One of our neighbors was actually moving and left a bunch of plants, pothos and peperomia, out for anyone to take, which happen to be 2 plants that are recommended for tortoises. So I picked up those. I put 1 in her enclosure. She immediately murdered it. I've got another 3 to put in there. Yeah, I'm hoping these pothos will be a little bit hardy because tortoises are very, very hard on plants. Like we were talking to the reptile store about setting up a bioactive enclosure, which basically means that you fill it with plants, you fill it with isopods, mulch, things for the isopods to eat, and then you kind of set up a whole living biosystem in there. So the isopods take care of the waste, and the plants feed the isopods and that kind of thing. They're very cool, but we asked about setting one up for Pow, and they basically said at the store that they don't recommend them because tortoises are so destructive that you just can't get anything bioactive established, and if you put them into an already established environment, they'll just destroy it. So no bioactive for Pow. So I was kind of intimidated by the size of this piece. I was like, I don't know where to start. So I started in the middle. I started with one little 20 by 20 section and did all of the color in that section, and then started branching out. So that's how I'm tackling it, just kind of like a 20 by 20 chunk at a time. So I am working on a digital copy of this pattern. We found a fantastic program for tracking cross stitch patterns. I was using Knit Companion for my knitting projects, but this one's called Pattern Keeper. It's for Android, so I'm running a BlueStacks emulator on my computer to run it on my computer as well. But it's so handy. Like, it's well worth the hassle of getting the BlueStacks set up. Yeah, it would be perfect for a tablet. Like, I'm running the emulator on the computer, because I think my tablet would be slightly too small to see it okay. And also I have an Amazon Fire tablet, and it's a bit of a pain to try and sideload Android apps onto it. So this is Pattern Keeper. So basically over here you have all of your threads with the thread count. You click on a thread. Like right now I'm working on 434, which is this brown color. So I click on that. It highlights all of that color on the pattern. And then I can highlight the ones I've done and tick them off as stitched, and then it colors them in. And it'll just do that for every color, so you can kind of flip around and know what you're supposed to be working on at any given moment. So that's super handy. And then over here it gives you a percentage tracker for how much you've actually stitched, like how many stitches you've done, which is very satisfying to watch. Very, very satisfying to watch that progress go on. So yeah, this is the pattern. It's I find it super handy. It can be a little bit fiddly getting patterns set up, because if it doesn't read them perfectly, then you have to kind of adjust stuff manually. But once you have it set up, then you can export it. So like I can set one up on my computer and then send that file to Toot so she can have it set up on hers without having to do all the extra work. So that's really convenient. So yeah, that's what I've been using. So I have this up in the background while I'm stitching over here. And I have my little Mothman needle minder that I got from Etsy as well. Needle Nanny on Etsy. This is one that Toot got. Sorry, moved away from the mic. This is one that Toot got from Needle Nanny. It's Silver Shamrock Novelties from Halloween 3. I love it. Although it does get the song stuck in my head. If you've never seen Halloween 3, it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and it's bizarre. It's about a company that's trying to take over the minds of children using Halloween masks, and they have a really, really, really catchy jingle. So that's what gets stuck in my head every single time. I wasn't sure how well you guys would be able to see this, because like this is totally new format for me, but I'm actually like super comfy, because usually when I stream for craft nights, I'm sitting very far forward on my chair, stretched out so I can do the top down. And I am like sitting back in my chair. I could actually put my legs up if I wanted to. I am comfy cozy. So this, I'm using a stand. Cozy DH, yeah. So I'm using a stand for the first time, like ever. I've always held my hoop. And let me tell you, it is great for saving you the hand pain and just making the whole experience so much comfier. Oh no. Oh heck. I heckled up. There is a style of stitching that you can only do with a stand. That's like two-handed stitching. So I've been kind of experimenting with it. Just to see. So like you can see right now I'm basically doing nothing with my left hand and doing all the work with my right hand. But some people, when they use a stand, what they do is they'll keep their right hand behind the hoop like that and push the needle up through and then take it with their left hand. Yeah, like I'm finding it is more comfortable, but I need more practice with it because I'm just not like I'm very weak with my left hand. I'm a right-handed person in a right-handed world. There's no reason for me to use my left hand. Cross-stitching seriously is so... It makes my brain go burr in the best way. I think I'm going to work on the stitches over here now. I need a new thread. So like even considering the size of this piece, there's not as many stitches as you would think because there's quite a lot of negative space in the wreath. So yeah, that's good for me. It's a little less overwhelming. I actually found I was doing some designing and I wanted to make sure my designs were going to fit within, you know, a certain size hoop for display. So like a 6-inch, 8-inch, that kind of thing. And I was looking around and I'm like, okay, trying to freehand a circle in pixels is incredibly difficult. But such things exist as circle pixel generators specifically for Minecraft builds. And I was like, this is amazing. So, big shout out to the Minecraft community for making my cross-stitch designing a little bit easier. I was sitting down and taking a look at, like, I have all these ideas pinging around my head for cross-stitch designs I want to do. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit down and I'll write them all out, and that way I can just kind of organize the chaos in my head. So I sat down and wrote out a really quick list of 32 designs that I want to make. So just like a really short list. Almost all of them video game related. Working on some inscription ones now. Because Inscription does not get enough love. And it's such a good game. I probably should have ordered another skein of this 434 because I'm using it for this and it's the most stitches. I've done this much and I've got 1,300 stitches left to go. Yep. And then it's also in the socks that Toot is working on, so I probably should have ordered another one, but I'm pretty sure we'll be placing another order with Stitch Wit at some point. Our last one still hasn't come in, sadly. But finding them was a great stroke of luck. Just because we can't really get out of the house very much, especially we can't get to the Michaels, so finding a good source online with competitive pricing and free shipping, always good. I'm doing all these little short rows, so I keep getting lost where I am because I'm not stopping every row to tick them off. Like I really should be in order to keep myself from messing up. Hi, baby. I know. The camera's over here now. What are you going to love again? girl? You showing off? Yeah, is that yours? There she is. Look at that pretty girl. You're on the TVs, baby. Part of me is thinking that it's going to take me forever to finish. Because I've got that like 12 by 12 kind of idea in mind that it's huge. But I mean, I've already done quite a bit in not very long. I think I only spent, I mean, how long were you streaming last night, Moon? I pretty much only worked on this during the stream last night. So like an hour and a half, 2 hours? No. I can do math. 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I got quite a bit done. I thought I would start with the biggest color first, which is this 434 brown. And then it'll feel like I'm just knocking off a little bit as we go. Yeah, but we stayed up late last night. We went to bed at 10:30. Can you believe it? We're rebels. Early girl. Do I have another strand of 434 or did you take off with it? No? Daddy has to cut a new one? Okay. Do this without revealing too much of myself. There's Earlie right there. She's doing a snoogle. It's looking a little bit like an Eye of Horus right now, don't you think? Like a little bit like I'm making the Eye of Horus at the moment. But it's actually... I will show you guys the pattern. So this is what I'm working on. It's the snake and lavender wreath from Wild Bluebell Patterns on Etsy. So you can see kind of where I'm to. Oop. I hecked it all up, guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, like it's looking a little Eye of Horsey, but you can see I'm kind of in the middle there. And I'm working on that little knot of scales in the middle. All right, I am attempting to show you the Afghan, although you can't really see much of it because it's so close to the camera at this point. But pull that up. Oh yeah, it's coming together slowly but surely. I just attached the 9th row of squares, so 4 more to go. It's a 9 by 13. So it's kind of at that stage where I have to like lay it across my lap while I'm working on it, because otherwise like I just can't do anything. Which also means it's both super cozy and super warm if I don't want to be cozy. So yeah, I just happen to have about 26 balls of Hobby Amigo in 26 different colors lying around. So the color is a little bit crazy, a little bit wild, a little bit crazy. Let me see if I can show you. So this is all the squares laid out with some help from Binks. So you can see that it's quite big. And yeah, there's a good at least 20 different colors in there, if not more. So yeah, that's what it's gonna look like just with the black borders. I'm working on putting it together. A true crafter always has a totally necessary amount of yarn. Yes, absolutely. I mean, the way I feel about stash is if you're happy with your level of stash, then it's the right amount of stash for you. Uh, if it's stressing you out, it's no longer the right amount of stash for you. I've been trying to work down my stash just because, like, I'm not going by yardage because I feel like that's a lot of unnecessary stress trying to be like, oh, I need to use up 2,000 yards or however much it might be. I have it in bins, and I want to reduce the number of bins I have. But of course, I completely lost my knitting and crochet mojo and got addicted to cross stitch, which the stash for that takes up like no space at all. So working through it makes zero impact on my craft storage, but that's okay. It's so funny because I taught myself how to knit from a book in the wild years before YouTube was really a thing, and had no problem with it. I picked it up right away. I could not for the life of me figure out how to crochet. I needed someone to like sit down and hold my hand literally and show me how to crochet. Luckily, I married someone who could knit, crochet, spin, quilt, cross stitch. Twitch is such a unique, great platform for crafters. I always, whenever I go looking for crafting streams, the fiber arts are few and far between, I find. But especially knitting, like I find that there are more crocheters on the platform than there are knitters, which I could just be looking at the wrong time of day or something like that. But I find that there are more crocheters than knitters. But I really wanted to have a place where we could just chill and craft. And if you were struggling with something, like if you weren't sure about a project or you needed help with the technique, I'd be able to like help you out with that because you can see my hands. I can do things. Because it's so interactive. It's like watching a YouTube tutorial, but in real time, and you can ask questions. That's it for the video. If you like the content, please like the video. Subscribe for more cozy gaming and crafting highlights. If you want to see more, join the community on twitch.tv/thecozydh or check out our Discord. Thanks for watching, and keep twinkling below, Starshine.